Hello. Welcome back to another video. I want to jump right into this video. I'm excited to film it. I've been contemplating filming this video for a little while now, and I thought it would be perfect. I wanted to share an experience. I wanted to share a journey with y'all because I think that is what we're about to embark on. I am going to be reading none other than A Court of Thorns and Roses for the first time ever in 2024. I don't know how I'm so late to the party, but I have seen so many opinions be voiced on this book series. I know it has a cult following. I know so many of y'all are diehards. I know you guys love A Court of Thorns and Roses. The opinions that I've seen voiced on this book range from this is the best book ever to this is just straight up fairy porn. And either way sounds intriguing to me. I was on the bandwagon of haters. I didn't understand why this book had such an intense following, but I thought I would do some investigative work and read A Court of Thorns and Roses so that you don't have to. Or if you do, we can talk about it. I have been judging this book not by its cover, but by its following. I know that, to me, I've kind of lumped it in the whole kind of genre of people who like Colleen Hoover. That's not my game. That's not my book. That's just not really what I look for in books. I'm not a big romance reader. But I thought instead of being a hater, I needed to just know for myself what this book was all about. I needed to be the judge. I needed to do some investigative journaling to understand why people truly love ACOTAR so much. I am new to the fantasy realm. I am a big window shopper, and within the last month, I've been trying to find my next fantasy read. And, you know, I've been trying to watch video recommendations, but nothing was hitting me the right way. I was like, kind of unimpressed with all the recommendations. I'm sorry if I watched your video and was unimpressed. But I was just not really interested in the things that were being recommended. And so I thought I'd go to the source, to the heart of books. And I went to Barnes & Noble. And I went to other bookstores as well. And I went and dove into the fantasy sections. But every single fantasy section looked like this. Like, it was just, every fantasy section was basically a Sarah J. Maas shrine. I think Sarah J. Maas has taken over the fantasy world, and if I want to get deeper into this fantasy reading, I think it's inevitable that I read at least ACOTAR, and I've been told to read the Crescent City series as well, so I'm intrigued, and I think I might. But I want to read this series through and through, but today I'm going to be documenting my journey with the first book. If I love it, I'm most likely going to read the rest of this, I think, 5-book series. I don't know how long it is. Let's do it. Without further ado, let's have fun. Let's have fun and read a Sarah J. Maas book for the first time, and I will report to you with live updates on the fairy porn. It's a couple days later, and I'm officially a fourth of the way through with A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I wanted to wait till I was like a substantial chunk into the story to kind of update you, because I wanted a more well-formed kind of idea of what I was getting into. So basically, I didn't even read the blurb before I started reading this book. I went full throttle, just rushed myself into the story. I didn't want any spoilers. I didn't want like any understanding basically of the story because I was determined to read it whether or not it sounded interesting. Basically, I started reading it. It focuses on this main character, Feyre, who is hunting in a forest to provide food for her family, and she comes across a wolf. And she has this inclination that it could be a fairy, yet she still takes the risk and kills it. And she skins it and she sells its pelt for money. But one day, this big fang-clawed beast comes to her door demanding that she give her life in place of the one that she took. Because the wolf that she happened to kill actually happened to be a high fae from Prythian. So she now, because of the treaty in place, has to either be killed or live there forever. Who would have thunk? So she is now in this like forced proximity, enemies to lover type situation. It's setting up the story. It's actually really interesting. It's really easy to read. It's not really causing me much reader's fatigue. It's just enjoyable and pure fun. So if you want a purely fun book that's also fantasy, it's actually serving that purpose quite well, and I'm really, really liking it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am really liking it. And that's kind of all I have to write home to you about. I'm kind of just at the start of her journey in Prythian. I haven't really found out much. There's not that much going on in terms of plot points, but it's really cool. It's really interesting. I'm trying not to give spoilers, but if you guys know, you kind of know where I'm at when she kind of just gets to Prythian. There's not too much going on, but there's hints. There's hints. And those hints are actually keeping me quite engaged. I'm really excited to see where this goes. So let's go. Let's keep going. So it's Halloween today. Literal favorite like holiday of the year. We've got a shirt on, we've got cauldron earrings, and what not a better idea than to lay in bed, which is super decked out for Halloween, and read a little bit of ACOTAR. That's what we're going to be doing until I have more festivities later tonight. Okay, update time. And boy, do I have quite a change of opinions on this book, because what? This is glorified IMO. Okay, so I guess like the reason that I'm feeling so like uncomfortable in this book is because like I don't even know if the deed has happened, but like sort of things. I'm not totally sure. I'm halfway through. I'm on page 245. So like weird things have happened. And if you don't want spoilers, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna spoil things like intensely, but I'm just gonna kind of talk about the details of this book. So if you don't want to hear that, don't watch. I feel like the deeds or like the descriptions of, you know what, is a little, I was like a little taken aback. I don't mind when that is in a book. I actually think it's fine. But it feels like the beginning of the book, whenever it was more plot-centered, was really, really good. I thought the writing was rich. I thought that the storyline and the sense of character and setting that she was giving was, like, perfect. I actually didn't have, like, any qualms with it. So I was like, yo, why are we hating? And then I read more into it, and it feels like the further into it we get, and the further into the romance we get, the lazier the writing gets. And I don't know if that's because plot becomes so secondary to the relationship, or just kind of like they're trying to build a relationship, so like plot is just not as important. But I like the plot, and I thought her writing was better when it was more plot centered, and now that it's based on the relationship, I don't like it. To me, it feels lazy. The details feel uninteresting. The moments in which magic rises, it feels like it's a very convenient and lazy explanation to me. Like, I'm like, oh, just casually this like little bit of magic that no one else has exhibited is being exhibited in this moment to fuel your like descriptions of the relationship.
if that makes sense. Like, it's just, I feel like it's not a really highly researched or like highly thought through book. It just feels like Sarah J Maas is in like this dark room with her laptop, and she's just like, and like no thought. Like, I will admit, you know, it's not, I'm not clowning, I'm not hating that much, but I'm just saying it just feels like the beginning is so rich, then it falls off, and I don't like that. I think she could have done it better. It just feels weird. And I don't like how the magic comes up at really random times in random ways only to serve this moment, but they're not like consistently showing up. It's just shows up in like these moments to like to like do something to that particular moment, but it's not like something you see distributed around. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's kind of like my biggest qualm right now. The you know what is definitely building, and the only reason that I think I mind it too, or a big reason I think I mind it, is that they like turn into like beasts. Like, I know I heard someone say this is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm not sure if that's my vibe. I'm not sure if that's my thing, because every time she like mentions him being like animalistic or like feral, or like his claws are coming out, or like he's angry, I'm like I'm just like uncomfortable, and I don't know how to explain it better than that. I really want to finish this book.
Welcome. Hello. It's literally like a month later since I started filming this and since I started the book. But better late than never. A lot has commenced in the last month. I've had a lot of work. I got a new puppy. It is now November. And my gears have shifted from fall to winter real quick. But I still wanted to do this video. This video I was so excited to post, so excited to make, and the only reason basically that I read this book. Because I probably wouldn't have picked it up otherwise, which I'm happy. I'm happy I read it. I feel like so many people hop on the bandwagon of hating on people, hating on fandoms, and hating on these groups of people who enjoy certain series. Why are we hating on all these people who are reading? Let's all just read. So I thought, you know, you can't hate on a book, you can't hate on a series, you can't hate on something if you don't read it. So I thought I would read it so that I could tastefully experience what so many people love. Okay, so like to preface it, but I'm just gonna say it, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I didn't love it. But I'm gonna explain to you why. But I'm also gonna tell you that I want to read the entire series, and I want to read more by Sarah J Maas, and it's something that I can't explain. I didn't love the story, I didn't love the romance, I didn't totally love her writing style, but there's something in me that like wants more and wants to continue this story, and so I like it probably a little more than I'm giving the book credit, but I'll explain. A huge reason why I didn't totally love the book is because I feel like I inconsistently liked it. I was really into it in the beginning. I loved it. And I got about halfway through and I was like, oh. And then we get to Prithian and I'm like, where did that go? Like, why is this boring? It was boring for like the whole, about what, like 300 pages, I would say. It was kind of boring. I feel like her writing in those 300 pages too got lazier. Secondly, I feel like the change in character that we got from Feyre was super unexplained. I don't know, maybe it was explained and I just like completely got blindsided by it. But can someone tell me where I missed this? What happened? Like, when did she become obsessed with this man? Like, when did this love connection and bond start? Because it felt like super random. It's like one day she hates him and the next she's like, kinda like him. Why did it shift so fast? Why did she wanna... And at that point when we established that she was no longer trying to get out and no longer hating on him, but she was kind of into it, I feel like there wasn't a lot of actual scenes of the deed. But there was this underlying tone throughout that whole portion of the story that were like not just with those two specific characters, Feyre and Tamlin, I think that's how you say it. Between those two characters, it was like between everyone, there was this weird like weird vibe going on between everybody that I was like really confused with. Like I really Rysand. I don't know how to say that name, but there's this one character who I still do not understand what that weird tension was. I can't, dude. What? I just feel like there's this weird underlying tone of fairy basically throughout the entire thing, whether or not it was really happening, because it happened a couple times, but not really like overt in the way that I thought. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I'd give it like 3.5 stars. So, you know, do with that what you will. I think everyone should give it a shot. If you're curious, I think don't hate on a book if you haven't tried it. I think there's reasons to criticize it, but I also think there's reason for people to like it, and I think we should all just let everyone be. But at the end of the day, I will be continuing the series. I literally bought another Sarah J. Maas, the Crescent City series, but I was told I have to read at least the first 3 books. I don't know, there's like this like wanting in me to like this series and like these books and like Sarah J. Maas, and that started as I started reading this book. I see it everywhere, it gets me excited, I want to read the books. So I'm editing this video and I feel like I'm so hateful in my analysis of my experience of reading it, and I really don't like that because I actually think it was a pretty decent book. I think that it wasn't anything like super grand or like super amazing, but I also think I was super invested in the love story at the end, and I was like actually really rooting for the 2 main characters to be together. I don't know. I was like, I felt like a sort of like sense of joy at the end, and I like really enjoyed it. Like kind of more in retrospect, now that I've had like a couple hours to sit with the book. I shouldn't have filmed that immediately after, but I totally actually think I loved it a little bit more than I'm like explaining in this. And like, I don't want to sit here and just say the places that I thought fell short for me. I want to say that like, you know, although it fell short in those ways and it kind of hindered my ability to love reading it all the way through, I'm also really invested in this love story, and I want to continue this whole series, and I want to read some other stuff because I think I want to kind of get into this romantasy stuff. So I don't know, like I feel like sorry for like being a hater. Like the book was actually like pretty freaking good. So I don't know. I liked the ending. Okay, bye. Reading. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you again with another one, hopefully. Bye.